Welcome to the Businessmen and Women of Color podcast. I am your host, Ann Alston, and it is my pleasure once again to bring quality programs to all of you. I am excited. Yes, again, I'm going to say it over and over again. Excited to have another dynamic speaker on this platform, another working professional who is here to share her story, her background, and her expertise with all of us. Because in 2018, this is the platform to be on the BMWOC podcast. And just in case you didn't know, the purpose of the BMWOC is to not only share our industry information, but we're here to encourage you, the working professional, college student, anyone who is looking to learn more about the different trends in industries and careers and professions. This podcast is for you. So please take a moment to look at all the pages, listen to all the podcasts, connect, and definitely take note of all the information that you're going to get from these professionals, because you can't get this anywhere else. But first, before we start, we're going to thank our corporate sponsors and partners, which are Kat Serrano, LLC, Sherwood Empowers, Concern and Learning, Evangelism Radio, Genesis Preferred Solution, J Coach International, Nels Tax Help, My Financial Home, Power, STCI, and the Student Teacher, along with our business partners and sponsors and all of our participants that's making this event a success. Today, we're going to be welcoming Miss Renee Jones, who is CEO of I Speak Hope. She is a survivor of domestic violence and human trafficking, and she's also a nationally renowned speaker and author. Most recently, she published her acclaimed book entitled Mama Ain't Teach Me That. And in 2001, she founded Reconnecting of Life Incorporated in Birmingham, Alabama. She is someone who loves to train and help people understand their purpose. Her main goal is giving talks and providing assistance to victims who were abused. And over 15 years ago, she wants to be that voice. She wants to be that voice to help victims be heard in their space. So, Renee, welcome to the podcast. Love what you're doing. I'm so happy to have you here. And tell us all about who you are, where you're from, and what you do for a living.
Wow, well, thank you. For a minute, I was saying, oh my goodness, I want to meet her. I need the help too. But I'm like, oh, wow, that lady sounds all right. I want to meet her.
Oh,
But
wow.
thank you. Thank you for having me. I tell you, this has been a journey. Whew. You know, I used to say that, and I still do say it. I am one of them women who lived two lives in one lifetime. In the first life, I have to say that I grab a hold to it and I hold on to that memory, that pain, the frustration, that anger, the hurt, the doors being slammed, sleeping in a car, sleeping in the trunk of a car, being abused, being mistreated, going to jail, all of that. God put me through all of that just so I can get here in this lifetime in order to help those that's going through what I went through. That is something else. You know, again, as Miss Ann said, my name is Renee Jones, but everyone call me Hope, so please call me Hope. And I am going to share a little bit about where I've been and a little bit about where I'm at now. Because I know there are so many women and men that's suffering in silence, that's going through the same thing I went through, that's attempting to think about how to get out of this situation. Why am I still dealing with him or her? Well, it all comes down to looking for love in all the wrong places. One thing I do know for a fact is that old story that they always would say growing up, what goes on in this house stays in this house. And
Wow.
they still say that. I cannot believe they still say that, but they do. And I believe that. I bought it. So all the things that I was hiding and holding on to, and the pain that I felt, and feeling like I'm different, and I would always feel like I'm standing on the outside of my house, looking in the window at someone else's home, And it was my home. It was where I was living, and my sisters and my brothers and my parents. But everyone seemed different. Everyone seemed different. You see, in my home, we wasn't surrounded around waking up in the morning saying, I love you, have a good day, are you okay, how's everything going? Just general things that is so important to people today. Little small things that's so important to our kids in this world today. They need to hear the hope. They need to hear the love. But instead, we were hearing other things like, go sit down, you're nothing, you'll never be nothing, and all of these other little things. So how this went on in my life after hearing all of that, the first time I had sex when I was 17, I ended up getting pregnant. And my mother she made me marry this guy. I mean, she was saying, hey, they have so much money because back then when you worked for a motor company, that was the job to work for. You had the money, and his parents worked, and they was upper middle class. So I went with it because I figured this might be my way out. And I'm gonna tell you, ladies, oh my goodness, we think about getting out of a situation the wrong way. We would use our heart. We would use what people say. We would use what people have done. We would use the little flowers and the pillow they bought at the dollar store, all because we thinking this is our way to get to where we think we want to be. It's just like saying, I remember when I was asked, what would you like to do when you grow up? Who would you like to be? I had no idea that I was going to be a domestic violence abuser, that the man I married was going to abuse me, black my eyes, break my ribs, crack my jaw, fracture my skull, beat a baby out of me, lock me in the closet, held me fearful, couldn't look at him, walk around the house with eggshells. I didn't know that. I didn't know that I had to try to figure out and make a plan on how am I going to be able to get out of this. When will the time come that I get a chance to be free? But after 3 years of all that pain, calling the police, hiding out, being afraid, it was that one day, the day of my birthday. My birthday is May the 24th. May the 23rd, my ex-husband beat me all day and all night. And we had two children.
My gosh.
We had 2 children. And I remember this so clearly, like it just happened. My 2 sons were standing there, 2 and 4, standing there in the doorway while he was beating me, and I'm on the ground bleeding, half step, and I'm can't hardly see because blood coming from my nose, from my head, from everywhere. But I saw my boys holding hands, just looking, and my baby boy had his bottle in the middle of his teeth. I hold him with his teeth, and they was so hurt. I could see it. So I knew then that he was going to kill me, and then he would kill my son. So I woke up. We went to bed, and I put everybody to bed, and it was, I don't know, 6, 7 a.m. in the morning. That part I really don't remember, but I snuck up out the house, and I left my kids. And all this took place in Cleveland, Ohio. And if anyone knows Cleveland, Ohio, I rode the number 15 bus all the way downtown, and I'm watching people sit on the bus, including the bus driver, staring at me. I felt the stares. I felt and heard the whispers, and I felt everything, but I knew I had to get out no matter what. I cannot let that stop me.
Wow.
The dry blood, the swollen face, the swollen head, can hardly move, nothing. No one said nothing. I get off that bus, I go to the Justice Center, I go up them steps, I go inside. And when you walk inside the Justice Center, which is like a big police station, all the courts and the jails, when you walk inside, there's a desk with maybe 6 police officers right there once you go through the metal detectors. And I just fell. Next thing I remember, I was in the hospital for 3 days. So I didn't know my time had stopped. He beat me so badly. It couldn't have been nobody but God to get me on that bus and get me there because when I fell out, I woke up 3 days later. I want to say it was St. Luke's Hospital, which doesn't exist no more. Not sure though. So I knew I had to get out. And I know that this may sound familiar to a lot of you. And I know you feel like you're not going to make it. I felt that too. I was there. I went to bed with a big butcher knife in my hand, up under my pillow, saying, I'm going to kill him before he kill me. All of that. I know you're there. But I ended up getting out. I didn't go back, and I ended up getting out, and I stayed with my sister and kind of got myself together. I was in the hospital for maybe 3 months, if I remember correctly. It was a long time, we could say between 2 and 3 months. When I left there and I started feeling normal again, I'm thinking, okay, now I'm ready to go out and do something. Everything is good. And I go into a club and I see this guy looking at me and I'm looking at him and we smiling. Come on, y'all know what I'm talking about. You've been in a club. You've been in a bar. I
Right,
don't care if it
right,
was the mall. I don't care if it was a bowling alley. Heck, some of us even did it in church.
right,
And you see him looking over at you, and you start fixing your hair, fixing your face, and smiling, and all of this was going on. And he come over and he talked to me, and we met, and then we for like maybe 1 week he wined and dined me. Girl, listen, he even took me to a restaurant where I had to put the napkin in my lap. The man came over and shook the napkin and he pulled it in my lap. Back then, for me, that was something else. I'm like, oh, shit, this is big time. Listen,
oh wow.
I didn't have no idea it was probably somewhere like Red Lobster. Okay? But, so that happened for about a week. Within 2 weeks' time, if anyone know anything about Cleveland, Ohio, I was on Prospect Avenue, which was the host draw. I went along because I'm looking for love in all the wrong places. So he wanted me to do this. I'm thinking, okay, I'll do this because he loves me. He bought me the pillow. He bought me the rose. He took me out. He dressed me up. He put this long, beautiful wig on me, fishnet stockings, clothes too tight, belt big and wide, all kind of stuff. I'm looking all, that's not me. I'm looking just as crazy, but I wanted to do it. And why? I wanted love. We all want love, but we just don't know where it's going to come from. Because I wasn't raised knowing what love was. So how do I know it when I see it? Okay, well, that ended up going through sex trafficking. Didn't know anything about sex trafficking. Nothing. Never heard of it before. Nothing. Okay? Within a year time, all the money that was made through me standing on the corner, selling my body, traveling around, going to different states, doing the same thing. I guess he must have met someone who figured that something better should happen. I remember this real clearly. He said, we're going out. We're going to leave out of here at about 1:30 in the morning. I want you to get all your stuff and get it together. He had a nice suitcase. He put my stuff in a black trash bag. He said, we're going to New York. I'm excited because back then I'd never been in New York. I want to see New York. New York, New York. Oh, wow. Okay, let's do this.
So, Renee, let me ask you a question because you have shared so much just so far. And first of all, I am so sorry that this has happened to you. I'm literally almost left speechless because of all of the podcasts that I've done and people who I've spoke to that have have experienced what you experienced as far as domestic abuse. I think yours is so detailed and so vivid in my mind that I just kind of want to come to where you are and just hug you and let you know you're safe. Really, because I sympathize and understand how that is because um, I have a very soft spot with that. I have experience in that area as well, not to the extent that you
Mhm.
had, but just listening to your story, first of all, just being brave enough to just disclose that kind of stuff because a lot of people don't. And I want to applaud the fact that you are brave enough to share this part of your life on this podcast. But I guess as the host of a podcast, I have to ask, you know, during that time that you, like when you mentioned that you literally had it in your mind to take a life because it's either going to be his life or your life, you know, and you made the decision to leave your kids behind so that you can get help. For those folks that are listening to the podcast and going through similar issues in silence of their home, what would you say to them on how they can get up the courage to walk out and leave their loved ones behind to get help?
What is the most important thing in your life? Your children. A lot of us don't want to leave our children because we don't, in fear of he's going to keep them. He's not going to let us see them. He might hurt them. All these other little things that we think back at that time. But here's the thing. If he kill you, which has happened many times out there. I have a close friend whose husband killed her daughter at 13 in front of her. So if he kill you in front of your kids, where they going to be at then? See, we don't look at the big picture at that time because we caught up in that little picture. But my suggestion to you, if you're going through this, I don't care what mansion or what box under the bridge you're living in. I don't care what car or what bike you ride. I don't care how it looks to anyone else, but you know how it looked to you. But I would definitely say this. If you want your kids to live and you want to live with them and enjoy the rest of your life, then all you have to do is open that door and walk out and don't look back. Because one thing about the law, they don't want to separate a mother and children. It has to be something really, really drastic for the law to separate the mother and their children. I'm telling you, I work with them now. I work under the laws now. I didn't know that then. I didn't know that, but I knew this. I knew I had to leave because when I was leaving, I was fighting for my boys. I wasn't fighting for me. If I didn't have my kids, I probably would have just laid there and bled out to death. This man literally kicked a fetus out of me. That's why I was in the hospital so long. I
My
can't have no more
gosh.
kids. I
Oh my
can't have
goodness.
no more kids.
Mm.
So I had to leave so I can live for my boys. Because once I'm safe and once I get it together, then I knew I could fight for them. They didn't have no one to fight for. So ask yourself, if you're going through this, turn around and look at your kids. If you're not near them, look at a picture. Put your kids in your mind. If you don't have kids, then your pet or your mother. Or better yet, how about you? Look at them laying around your funeral. Take a look. Imagine it. So it's important, not just for you, but for the ones that love you. If you don't have kids, to get out and walk away. They're going to tell you, you leave here, I'm going to kill you. You leave me, I'm going to kill you. You can't take that car, I'm taking this house, I'm taking all of this. Listen, if your name ain't on nothing in the house, it ain't yours anyway. Get to moving, sister. Call me. I'll help. I can't come to you,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm a very strong advocate. In my book, I have the plan, and I followed that plan to the T. And I've assisted others to follow that plan to the T.
Okay.
It may take a minute, but that's
May
what I
take
would
a
say.
minute. Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. So, as you mentioned your book, let's talk about your book and some of the things that, we all know by the conversation we're hearing today why you wrote the book. But let's talk about like people who you serve and some of the great things that have come out of them reading your book or you speaking to them in public about domestic abuse and how to overcome and move forward in their life after being abused.
Okay, thank you. The title of my book is Mama Ain't Teach Me That. And yes, you all know why I wrote the book. In order for my story to be heard, in order for me to be able to be the voice for the men and women and children who don't have a voice. When I first published my book, which is at Barnes and Nobles and Amazon, I had my publisher take 100 books and donate them out to different shelters. So we took books and we donated them out to different shelters. During the time that I was doing my speaking engagements and different things and being invited to shelters and events and the mental health services and to share my story, I would tell them to take that book. If you need to leave and the only thing that you can grab, the best thing to grab would be Mama Ain't Teach Me That by Renee Jones. And I would tell them because I have every 1-800 number in that book, the hotline number in that book, my steps to survival, my steps to life is in that book. If you follow that, then you're way on your way. I have also, but in the progress now, I am in the progress now of turning this book into a stage play. See, we see a lot of different plays and films, but a lot of it is edited somewhere. It's a make-believe fiction. It's not real. But I don't want nothing cut in my book. Because one of the things that I've learned when I'm going through this, and listen, when I started writing that book, it took me about 2 years because that was my therapy. I was on the floor in a fetal position many times. Because once you start writing and start believing and start seeing what God wants you to see that's going to happen with this book, then all those come up and the pain come back. So right now, I'm in the process of working on a stage play or a film. I'm hoping it can be a stage play of a true life story event of every little thing because there's so much stigma going on that people still believe you can just say, oh, girl, just leave them. Oh, girl, just do this. And it's not that easy.
Right.
And I want that stigma to go. So right now, I am working on that. I also have created a movement. It's the I Speak Hope movement. I'm tired of everyone speaking down, speaking stigma, sharing their thoughts and what they think is supposed to happen when you've never been in that situation. Because there's so many out here who have. And I'm going to tell you, the other day I was in Target and I saw this lady and I knew she was being abused. Because, see, our abusers don't abuse us in the face. But I knew she was being abused. And I went up to her and I talked to her. And I said some things to her. And then I just walked away because she looked at me like, what the world is she talking about? Who is this? She gave me that look. But it took her less than 15 minutes for her to find me. She grabbed a hold of me and asked me, how did I know? And started crying. I walked her outside in front of Target. There's a little bench. And we sat there for at least probably 45 minutes to an hour so I can help her. This is why I do what I do. Because I have now, God has blessed me with this spirit where I can detect who's being hurt, how they're being hurt, and what's going on. Don't know why, but it happens. So at this point right now, the I Speak Hope movement is coming up. I wanted some different chapters, and what we'll do is we're going to do webinars, seminars. We do prevention.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to also create our own hotline where we would speak to someone to share their experience with you, which only going to be the ones that are licensed to do that. And we also are going to start doing other little things in the community, which I'm doing now here in Florida. I live in Clearwater, Florida now. In the Tampa Bay area, I am working on doing different things as far as our movement is concerned by helping others. The other day, I stood outside and I was at the park, and I started just offering assistance and talking to people and letting them know that this is real. This is truly real. We've also created a movement for our kids because we have teen abuse now, and we have all kind of things that's going on with the child. If I knew back then that there was help for my sons while I was being abused, where I was out here being human trafficked, when I was on drugs because I'm looking for something to medicate all that pain, which I never received counseling for. So I never drank beer, wine, liquor, Hennessy, Remy, none of that. I don't smoke cigarettes. I never did smoke cigarettes, but I went straight to the crack cocaine.
Oh, no.
February the 14th, I had 18 years clean and sober.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so now what we're doing now, I'm starting this KIDD, Speak
Mm-hmm.
Up, and monologues. We're going into the schools, into the churches, and wherever we can find a kid, and we're putting the kids together where they can be able, we're going to get ready to do our second one at this school, and I'm partner up with the director of the arts and I think it's the arts and I can't think of the other word they use for it. Arts and theater. Thank you. Arts and theater section of the school, and we put it together, and they're going to be able to come out and do monologues. The kids may not talk about themselves, but trust me, they're talking about themselves, if that makes sense. So the next the next event that we're doing and things that's coming up is called Kids Speak Up in Monologues, where they will be able to come out in a monologue and they'll be able to express the abuse, the bullying, how it feels when their mom is on drugs and they're home alone, how it feels when their dad in prison and their mom is struggling and they don't know what to do, how it feels when a teacher bullies a kid by putting them down or saying different things to them. And that's what we're doing as of this time right now in the community of the Tampa Bay, Florida area.
That is fantastic, Hope. That is really fantastic. And again, just taking this situation and just creating some really good programs to prevent this type of stuff from happening to people in the future is what it's all about. And I really want to commend you on that, really.
Thank you.
Um, let everybody know how they can find you, how they can contact you if they want to have a workshop, because people, you're listening to this story. I know you have a feeling like I do that you want to participate in some way. So she's going to give you her contact information so that you can reach out to her and have a workshop, whatever area you in, maybe through Skype, Facebook Live, or in the Tampa Bay, Florida area. Wherever you are, this service is well needed to where you are. So Hope, go ahead and give everybody your contact information.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you all. If you are anywhere in Florida, I will come to you. Okay? So don't worry about Miami, Orlando, Fort Lauderdale, anywhere in Florida, I will come to you. Anywhere else, I'm willing to travel if you send for me. Hey, I'm worth it. But you can reach me at 727-220-4041. That's my direct office number. My email address is speakhope4, the number 4, speakhope4 @gmail.com. And the website is www.ispeakhope.org. Everything is Speak Hope. Okay? Speak Hope 4 is the email at gmail.com. And ispeakhope.org is the website. My office number is 727-220-4041. I'm hoping to hear from you soon. Please feel free to call me. I am open and available, and I'm ready to come out and help you make your event successful.
And that's right. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to hear stories like this here on the podcast in 2018, 2017, 2016. And I'm going to tell you, if you have any service that can help benefit for Hope and her cause, and to help with prevention of domestic abuse and bullying, because we know that we have a really good outrage of stuff going on right now in terms of mental illness, please share your expertise with Hope and all the other people that you will find on this platform. And thank you again for being on this podcast.
Thank you for having me.